The reason I stopped the video and start a new video because the camcorder was running out of battery. Okay, I just plugged in the AC adapter so that it doesn't run out of batteries. Okay, back to where I left off. Okay, I'm just kind of like, I just haven't been looking at Angie's picture, so I kind of forgot her last name. I have to look it up. And anyway, Josie Moran. So basically, those are the more those like kind of like on the covers of the Victoria's Secret magazine. Those. So pretty much that's where I start, noticing female model. It's through the Victoria's Secret magazine that my older sister, like after she looked through it, I kind of like just hide it away and things like that. And anyway, so pretty much that's how I starting to, like noticing about the modeling and that, and pretty much those were the two that were, I felt like were kind of like more in the covers and things like that. Angie and Josie Morena. Well, I like. Okay, so back to what I'm saying. Anyway, so it just is because I felt it's just very hard, especially like my family and Steve just been making fun of me on not able to be around a female and a woman, and just I'm gonna embarrass myself and disgrace myself even more and things like that. So they've been making fun of me on that. So I felt that's why I felt maybe that's my only way, probably just have collect picture of female models and magazine cover and things like that. And anyway, so pretty much that's how I start collecting them. And well, the girl of anime pretty much is a magazine. It's pretty it's putting it down. I have to remove a few items to take that to. I'll show it later. There is it's called Girl of Anime. Okay, I'm just quickly remove that. Just show that. But it's animation. It's not real live people. It's animation. Okay, pretty much it's like this, but it's girl anime. This is girl. Well, this is later on. During back then, starting from, I remember was able to purchase one of the girls anime. It was early on, and then these are a bit later on. This the girl gaming magazines, but it's animation like. So those are like the earlier one, like the Victoria's Secret and Girl of Animate, which was pretty much. Well, the very beginning was Vicky Zhao because I could buy it publicly because my family, they watch a lot of my favorite Princess TV series. So remember, it kind of like, that's my reason buying, going along with my family because they watch a lot of my favorite Princess TV series. And anyway, so I remember was able to hire a few of my older sister Victoria's Secret, just catalog, basically Victoria's Secret catalog on displaying the Victoria's Secret lingerie and things like that. So remember after she looked through those catalog and would hide those catalog, and so I was saying it was later on. I remember we just got really excited about Comic-Con. Remember it was his first time being at Comic-Con. Remember it was around, I think 1999 or 2000. First time being at the Comic-Con. It was like a huge, almost a mile long, that convention center building, Comic-Con. It's almost a mile in length and width, about, I think, maybe 800 yards. I think the width around 800 and the length about around a mile long. And so it was a really big convention, and was really amazed by it. And remember was, and get to see like 18 or higher products is, but like I was saying, but like I was saying, just in some of the, the adult section and things like that. And so I remember because of just the whole experience being first time and all of that. And I suppose I remember was just like, I remember came upon a few Chun-Li and anime. Chun-Li is one of them, the video game character, and a few other anime characters. So it's just animation card, but the Chun-Li one, she had some of her clothes got ripped and things like that. So it really had that sort of sexy appeal, sort of that showing a lot of cleavage and all of that. And so remember it was just hesitating on buying it. Remember, so it might bring up question and things like that. And I remember waiting until the very last day, Sunday, and the very last hour when they're announcing, it's the last day of the Comic-Con. It's a 4-day event, and last day and last hour, just do what you have to do and everything. And so they're making that announcement, and I remember waited till the very last 15 minutes, and then I ran to that booth, and I felt like maybe this is the very last minute. They probably wouldn't have some sort of suspicions on what I'm purchasing and things like that. And also I put a few other animation card in that pile so that to avoid the suspicion and things like that. I don't know. I think it's that, and then it's just like hurry back home, and remember like lock the restroom door and start looking at it, and then I don't know. That's how I start having this feeling of masturbation. It's like for the first time, It's I like it's saying it just. I think it's just a combination of things, like being the first time to Comic Con and just waiting for the very last hour and last day and make that quick purchase and try to dodge all the suspicions and all of that. And I think that could be why I had, I don't know, like just that very first time you feel like, so it's kind of start, just going along with, the feeling and just make sort of like, stroke, just touching the erections and like I'm saying, just all the first time, just it could have been just all part of the whole experience at Comic Con for the first time and all of that. So pretty much just how I start, you know. So after that, starting to, go further with the masturbation and things like that. And but pretty much that's how it all started. Was just because of was maybe could have been have the combination thing. First time in the Comic Con and waiting for the very last day and very last hour, and also like making that purchase to avoid the suspicion and things like that. And so anyways, so that's how my masturbation began. So pretty much, after experience it for the first time, kind of like would explore further as time goes by and things like that. And it's just like, to me, seeing my well, basically seeing what's under the foreskin of my private part. It's like I private part. So kind of sort of like in a way, as time after the masturbation, it would explore my private part and seeing what's under the foreskin and all of that. And like I was saying, it was just. I remember having daydream about what sex is like and things like that, and just kind of like just wondering. Also there was just they also have sex education in the school. Like starting the middle school year, at around sixth grade, sixth or seventh grade, they have sex education. They explain about sex. How sex is like and things like that in school. And so from the combination thing, exploring my masturbation and also the sex education. So that's how I start wondering about what sex is like and things like that. And anyway, but like I was saying, that's how also, so I've been collecting those female pictures, especially like modeling and things like that. But like, I mean, supposedly, it was just because the Victoria's Secret magazine catalog was able to hide it, and so it felt, it was just, it's kind of like more harder to find like the real life model and things like that. And remember, I was able to make a purchase of a hentai animation video in Video Trader, which the name later on changed to Mojo. Remember, I kind of sort of like have like a few, like a pile of video, and then sort of stick it in the middle, and kind of was able to get by, without the Video Trader cashier, while ringing out, checking my ID because it's a hentai. Hentai, you have to be 18 or older to. So like, member was able to get away, like, make that purchase. Like again, remember there were, but I remember once I get any kind of argument or suspicion in my life. Remember would kind of like hide all my anything that is over 18 in a bag, and remember just toss it deep into the dumpster. And I mean, I regret it, but that's like the only way to, maybe don't want. It's already a disgraced son, felt like been my family and Steve's been making fun of me, and making fun of me as the disgraced son. So it felt like they see that, now they really like. So like, I felt any suspicion, the argument, member would do that, just like. I mean, it's kind of like in a way, like going through the trouble to purchase it and all of that, and have to toss it into the dumpster and all of that. And anyway, like saying it, but you like, pretty much that's how it started, just collecting. Felt, well, like, the more recent one is on last year of April. I remember was riding the Tafa on my PTT's blog, and I post up that I'm going to. Pretty much, I made a post that I will select like 31 sexiest women in the world. Call it PTTS 31 sexiest women in the world. Like, I just wanted to, avoid, because at the time, it just bring, give me that hope of able to be around, that fantasy of able to be around women without being made fun of and things like that. And basically collecting these pictures able me to feel like that. So I just want to continue collecting that and avoid being made fun of. That's why I make that post, about PTT's 31 sexiest women in the world. I just want able to continue to collect these pictures of. So anyway, that's the most recent one, like the most recent one that I have posted up on my PTT's blog, and like what I was talking about, that's way when I was still in my middle school and high school years. So that's way back in the past how I began collecting those pictures of. I remember, well, there was this one time I got really, I don't know, like, was doing like some of the eBay bidding back still early in my high school year. I was able to made a purchase of sort of like autistic poses from women that's barely wearing any clothes, and just cartses, and I just never really get a chance to look at it, and felt like you might want to look into it and couldn't afford it, and at the same time, what if it bring up questions, like that's my occupation is trading card gaming. I just didn't want to mix the pleasure and business together. So I mama just keep that in secret, that there's like multiple pages of, like I was saying, like I just really didn't get a chance to look at it and things like that, like I'm saying, but really glad. Like I think Josie Moran is in one of the cards. Like I remember seeing. So Josie Moran's from Victoria. That's where I know. First time I see Josie Moran is from the Victoria Secret catalog. So I think I saw her. She was in one of the card, and that's why I felt could be like noticeable model in those cards and things like that. And is this doing autistic pose? So they're making like really well poses for, to show the body part and the curve and all of that. Like I'm saying, I just really felt maybe one day with lesser problem in my life, maybe get a chance to look through it and things like that, and let's say argument and slash problems as in my life and things like that. And also, if I don't look at it, then might not know what content it is. I mean, at one glance, it's just like, saw Josie Moran and autistic pose, so I just didn't want to create any more arguments to it and things like that. Anyway, well, anyway, like I was saying, it's a really, collecting these pictures allowed me to feel that, able to have that fantasy, could be around, one day could be around women and things like that. So it bring me kind of like, because of just being made fun of all the time, that couldn't be around women and things like that. So in a way, just like I'm saying, it's I'm going like, it could be also something I've been doing a lot also, so it's like pretty much that's how it started. It's like I really don't, I mean, like, pretty much, a lot of things been said in the sex education already. Just like, I mean, I'm not really like an expert in the sex education or anything. It's like, so pretty much that's how it started, and